guys, thanks for tuning in. A couple of weeks ago I did an unboxing and my first thoughts on the MVave Tank G pedal here, and I wasn't overly impressed with the onboard presets and the internal impulse responses when I first tried it out. Since then I've actually spent a little bit of time creating some presets, which you just heard. So essentially what I've got here is a clean sound, an overdriven sound, kind of like an early AC/DC style edge of breakup kind of tone. Then I've got a heavy distorted tone, and then I've got the same heavy distorted tone with a little bit more gain and some delay and reverb, just to give me like a lead sort of tone. So what I'd like to do is basically completely reformat the pedal back to its factory presets, and then step through the process of how you can install the presets and the impulse response that goes with it and have these sounds for yourself. Now what you'll notice is I'm currently running into the orange Pedal Baby 100 power amp into a 2x12 Marshall cabinet, and I'm miking that with an AKG S1000. Now for some reason, and I don't know whether this is limited to my system, but whenever I was trying to run the MVave into my door here, going into my UAD Apollo, for some reason I was getting a lot of digital aliasing on the actual sounds of the impulse responses, and I'm not sure whether that's just limited to my system. Please comment below if you're experiencing the same issues, but for whatever reason I've been unable to actually capture the direct sound directly to the computer. So the sound you're hearing is directly from the microphone. If you were here in the room, you would hear that it sounds pretty phenomenal. I'm not sure exactly how the microphone is picking up the sound and how it will actually translate through YouTube. But anyway, I digress. So let's basically, I'm going to reformat the pedal, and then we'll start from scratch, and I'll show you how to install the presets and the impulse response. So coming over to the computer now. So basically I'm just connecting directly from the USB into the back of the pedal, and you can notice the sound as soon as I plug in to the system. I'm picking up a lot of noise and background noise. That's only while it's connected to the USB. So obviously once you've finished programming the pedal, then disconnect it and everything will be okay. Okie dokie, so let's go across to the software. So here we have basically everything that I've got currently going on here with my 4 presets. So here's the clean. And go to the overdriven. Then we've got the distorted tone. And lastly, the lead tone. So what I'm going to do is restore all the factory presets first of all. Do that, and you can hear pretty noisy, and I'm going to restore all the factory IRs. Now this will take a moment, so you'll hear it going through its thing. It takes about 30 seconds to completely overwrite the data. So here we go. Restore complete. Okay, so now if we go to the first preset, 1A. So that's the sound from the factory that the Tank G came with. So what I want to do is, if you download the folder that I've got linked in the description, this is the 4 presets, and I'm using the one cabinet, which is a Marshall 4x12 checkerboard for all 4 presets, okay, just to simplify things. So the first thing you want to do is click on import current preset, and then I'm just going to click on clean and open. Now it's opened the preset, but it's currently using the impulse response that was assigned to that preset initially. So what I want to do is I want to change the IR cab slot here to number 1, and I'm going to then click on Open IR and make sure that you double click on the Marshall 4x12 checkerboard impulse response, click select. So that's the actual sound there. Now what I've been doing is finding that the impulse level should be around about 30. That seems like it's about the same level as the actual stock preset. So change that value of the impulse level to 30 and then click select again. And now you can hear it's got a much more conservative level there. So the thing to remember when you're doing this with loading an impulse response is make sure that your impulse cabinet is set to 1, because this is the slot that we're going to save this cabinet to. And then if you save the preset to another impulse cab slot, what happens is when you go back to that preset, even though you've saved it, it hasn't saved the actual cabinet with the preset. So what we're going to do is we're going to save the IR data to device, and we're going to number 1. So that means that that cabinet is now saved to slot 1 on the actual pedal itself. Okay, so essentially now we've got 1A in there. And then we just save the preset, and I'm going to make sure that it's on 1A, which is the first pedal switch here. So now if I go to number 2, back to 1, it's all been saved. Okay, so that's our first preset. So let's now change to preset 1B. So that's the preset from the factory. What we're going to do, same deal, is we're going to import current preset. I'm going to go to the overdrive or OD. You can see that it's imported it, and I'm going to make sure the impulse response level is still on 30, and that the cabinet we change to number 1, and we'll just select so we get the right level. And cool. Okay, so that's preset number 2. So what we want to do is save the preset to the slot, make sure it's on 1B. Moving on, let's go to 1C. This is what the factory preset has. Okay, so what we want to do is import the current preset, heavy, select the impulse response. Oh, we need to make sure that the IR cab is on number 1. Select again, and cool. Okay, so we want to save the preset, 1C. And lastly, let's go to 1D, and pretty horrible. So let's import the preset, heavy lead, and then select the impulse response. Oh, again, we need to make sure that's on number 1. Actually, let me just save this and show you what happens if you don't select number 1. So we save the preset to 1D, but then what happens if we change to a previous preset, so 1C, and then we go back to 1D, you can hear that it didn't save the impulse response with the preset. So we need to make sure that we're selecting the IR cab, and because that impulse response has been saved to slot 1, that's where we need to save it to. So we're going to hit select again, and now if we save the preset again, there we have it. And if I go to a previous preset, back to 1D, hear that now that impulse response has saved with the preset. So that's essentially the 4 presets I've got running here. One last thing I wanted to mention is just a couple of functional controls that you may or may not be aware of when you're using the Tank G Live. So obviously you've got the 4 presets now. So if we go, for instance, clean. If you hit the 2 middle buttons at the same time, this enters like a instant access mode where you can actually turn reverb, delay, the modulation and the amp on or off. Okay, I wouldn't turn the amp on or off, I'd leave that on, but basically you've got reverb, delay and the modulation, so you could set up some different presets here. So you might have it so that you've got a little bit of reverb there. Now it's off. Delay. And then we might turn on some chorus. So chorus, if you turn the knobs all the way around. And then of course, if you want to return back to preset mode, you hit the 2 buttons in the middle. So switch number 2 and 3 at the same time. And now you're back into preset mode. So because this mode is also where you would edit tones, if you wanted to save that tone, so say as an example, I want to save it with that phaser on, what I do then is whichever preset switch you want that preset to be saved to, you just long hold and you'll see that it'll flash, and now that preset is saved onto that switch. So if I jump out of that mode, go back, you can see now that the phaser is actually switched on that switch now. So again, I'll just demonstrate. So if I wanted to have it so that it's off in the preset state, press the switch number 2 and 3 again, and now I'm hitting the modulation switch to turn the modulation off. You can see that the modulation is no longer lit. Okay, and then I long press the switch that I want that preset to be saved to. So now, if I jump out of the edit mode and back to preset mode, jump to a different preset and then back again, you can see now that the modulation isn't on when I switch to that pedal. So that's just a couple of really functional things with the pedal. Lastly, if you long hold the 2 middle buttons, so switch number 2 and 3, you'll enter the tuner mode. Okay, so this is now in tuner mode. If I want to tune up silently, you can see now that the red indicates that it's slightly flat, the red just to the left of the green. If I go to my A and then sort of slightly tune up, oop. Here we go. So that's perfect. So the green lighting in the middle indicates that you're perfectly in tune. So when you want to exit the tuner, hit preset number 2 and 3 again, and you're back into preset mode. So there you go. There's 4 different presets that'll give you a starting point with your Tank G. Grab the download from the link in the description. I'd love to know your thoughts if they work for you. Just bear in mind though that the Tank G presets will sound different depending on what you're running them into. As I mentioned earlier, running directly into my recording system, my DAW. I haven't had any luck with them sounding very good. For whatever reason, I'm getting digital aliasing happening with the impulse response. But running directly into the power amp and the speaker box for me sounds phenomenal. Yes, I'd love to know your thoughts. Please comment below and just let me know what you're thinking. Okay, thanks for stopping by, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.